Though Gout Gout did not want to tempt fate. He gets up on Us. He's out there a little bit wider now. Is Aiden Murphy, but here comes Gout Gout. We knew we'd see this in the final 50, so let's watch the young superstar rise. He's flying. He will be Gout of this.
When a teenager from Australia clocked a 9.31 second back half in the 200 meters, the athletics world stopped and stared. Analysts, fans, and even former champions couldn't believe what they were seeing. That sprinter? Gout Gout, and his sudden rise has everyone asking the same question. Is this kid the second coming of Usain Bolt? Born Gout Gout in Sudan and raised in Queensland, Australia, Gout is only 17 years old. He burst onto the scene with jaw-dropping performances in the national youth circuit and rapidly started rewriting Australian sprinting history. While most 17-year-olds are thinking about homework, Gout is thinking about sub-20-second 200-meter times and hitting them. His rise has been meteoric. From dominating junior meets to becoming the fastest Australian over 200 meters, Gout has turned from a promising local athlete into a global name, all before finishing high school. His story is even more remarkable considering his background. Coming from a refugee family and growing up in a new country, Gout's journey represents not just athletic excellence, but the power of opportunity and determination. At the 2025 Queensland State Championships, Gout delivered a run that turned heads around the globe. The clock read 19.98 seconds for his 200-meter sprint, a blistering time for any athlete, let alone a teenager. But what really shocked the analysts was the breakdown of that run. The first 100 meters took him 10.67 seconds. The second 100, an unbelievable 9.31 seconds. This run wasn't just a personal best, it was a national record, breaking Peter Norman's iconic time set in 1968. Video clips of the race went viral, with slow-motion replays highlighting his explosive acceleration and seemingly effortless glide down the home stretch. It was one of those rare moments in sport where you witness the birth of a star in real time. To appreciate how wild that 9.31 is, consider this. Usain Bolt, in his 2009 world record 200 meters of 19.19 seconds, ran the second half in 9.27 seconds. Michael Johnson, in his legendary 19.32 at the 1996 Olympics, had a back half split of 9.20. And Yohan Blake, Bolt's Jamaican teammate, ran a 9.12 back end during his 19.26 run in 2011, the fastest second 100 meters ever recorded. Gout's 9.31 isn't far off those marks. Yes, his run had wind assistance and a running start, but even factoring that in, the result is mind-blowing. Movement scientist Dylan Hicks, who analyzed Gout's splits, was stunned. It's worth looking up which athletes have run this segment of a 200-meter faster. In history, Hicks added that Gout's biomechanics are already among the most efficient he's studied in someone so young. It didn't take long for the world to start drawing comparisons. The tall, rangy frame, the relaxed yet explosive stride, the smile, the charisma. Gout Gout doesn't just run like Bolt, he carries that same electric presence on the track. With every blazing performance, the hype around Gout grows. Former Olympian John Stephenson said the whole world is watching. Athletics Australia President Jane Fleming said her priority is to protect Gout's future, to make sure he survives the fame and pressure and thrives long enough to become a true great. Even four-time Olympic gold medalist Michael Johnson weighed in, calling for patience. There have been so many phenoms that have come up at 15, 16 years old and didn't get to ultimately be best of all time. He said, "Let him just go out there and keep having fun and develop quietly. And that's where he will have his best chance." Media coverage has intensified. Every race Gout runs is now headline news in Australia, and international scouts are tracking his development closely. There's talk of major brand endorsements, international competitions, and pressure to qualify for senior-level events. Despite not counting officially, the performances were proof of potential. The speed is there. Now it's just a matter of doing it under the right conditions. And Gout knows it. He's now focusing on technical aspects like block starts and reaction time to shave milliseconds off legally. To sharpen his tools, Gout has trained with the best, including Olympic gold medalist Noah Lyles in the U.S. The experience was invaluable. giving the young Aussie a glimpse into the life of a world champion. It also showed that Gout isn't just competing for national titles, he's aiming for the global stage. Training alongside Lyles exposed Gout to elite recovery protocols, sprint mechanics, and mental preparation techniques. His camp believes these sessions have accelerated his progress by years. The bond with Lyles has also helped Gout stay grounded amid the hype. This is the real question. Plenty of teenage track stars have flamed out before they ever hit the big stage. Injuries, burnout, mental stress. Track and field is a brutal sport, and Gout is still just a kid. But what sets him apart is his mindset. "My circle helps me stay level," he said. He's focused not just on winning races, but on building a legacy. He wants to last. He wants to grow. And most importantly, he wants to peak at the right time. His coach, manager, and family are taking precautions to prevent overtraining. Regular sports psychology sessions are now part of his routine. There's a long-term plan, not just for medals, but for his physical and emotional health. There's something uniquely calm about Gout Gout. While others crumble under attention, he seems to soak it in. He speaks like someone twice his age, aware of his responsibilities and the eyes watching him. And then there's his style. He runs smooth, effortless. His stride, his posture, his finish. It's all poetry in motion. Analysts have described it as naturally efficient and biomechanically sound. Even casual viewers can sense something special when he's on the track. He's also a student of the sport. Gout spends time watching footage of Bolt, Blake, Johnson, and Lyles, not to imitate, but to understand. It's clear he respects the game, and he's in it for the long haul. While the immediate goals are Tokyo 2025 and LA 2028, Gout's ultimate stage might just be the Brisbane Olympics in 2032, competing on home soil as a fully matured athlete. It could be Australia's next Kathy Freeman moment. Australia hasn't had a sprinter this promising since the days of Matt Shervington and Patrick Johnson. Gout's performances have already reignited interest in athletics across the country. The pieces are in place. A nation behind him, the world watching, and a path that could lead him to sprinting immortality. There's no denying the raw talent, there's no denying the numbers, and there's no denying the energy surrounding his name. Gout Gout is not just a fast kid, he's a movement. He's a glimpse into the future of sprinting. And whether or not he reaches Bolt-level greatness, one thing is clear. He doesn't want to follow anyone's footsteps. He wants to make his own, inspired by Gout Gout's story. Hit that like button, drop a comment sharing your thoughts, and subscribe for more incredible sports stories. Could we be witnessing the rise of the next global sprinting icon? Let us know what you think.
Boston into second. Kosgei pulls off the double.
Yeah, Vera, 11th place in the 1500, super strong, but then really quick turnaround to the 5K here. People see, oh, BU, I don't know, maybe not going to do anything crazy. And then you just come out of nowhere, that last lap, and you go.
Most college athletes dream of making it to nationals, but Vera Schoberg just did something that hasn't been done in over a decade at Boston University. And the way she did it? Absolutely insane. At the NCAA Outdoor Championships this past weekend in Eugene, Oregon, Vera Schoberg, a junior from Stockholm, Sweden, competed in not one, but two events at the National Championships, the 1,500 meters and the 5,000 meters, back-to-back. On the same night, Vera is the first Boston University woman to compete in multiple events at the Outdoor Nationals in the program's history. The last time BU sent both a male and female athlete to any NCAA championships was 2014. This performance represents completely uncharted territory for the program. Earlier this year, Vera made history by running 4:28.12 in the mile at the Valentine Invitational, making her the 23rd fastest collegiate miler ever. This time established her as one of the most elite middle-distance runners in NCAA history. Saturday night at Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon. First up, the 1,500-meter final at 9:11 p.m. Vera lines up against the best middle-distance runners in the country. She gets out well, sitting in fourth place through the first 300 meters. At the bell lap, she's holding strong in fifth position. But then something happens. The pace kicks up, the field spreads out, and Vera starts to fade. She crosses the line in 11th place with a time of 4 minutes, 12.52 seconds. While not her target result, this earned her second-team All-American honors. Most athletes would celebrate this achievement, but Vera had already proven herself earlier in the season. At the NCAA Indoor Championships in March, she had earned first-team All-American status in the mile. But tonight, she had another race ahead of her. The recovery window, exactly 1 hour and 44 minutes before the 5,000-meter final. 1 hour and 44 minutes to physically and mentally reset for a completely different race. The 5,000 meters requires different tactical preparation, endurance, positioning, and race management over 12.5 laps. Vera would line up against 23 other runners who hadn't already raced that evening. The gun fired at 10:55 p.m., 24 of the best distance runners in the country. Vera positioned herself conservatively in the field. With 2,000 meters to go, that's about 5 laps, Vera is sitting in 17th place. 17th out of 24. The television commentators begin questioning whether the double attempt was too ambitious. The 1,500-meter effort appeared to have taken its toll. But then something starts to happen. With 2 laps to go, she's moved up to 12th. The field is starting to string out as the pace increases. Vera begins to find another gear, moving with the confidence of an athlete who has been holding back. The tactical brilliance becomes clear. She had been running within herself, conserving energy for the crucial final stages. 1 lap to go. The bell rings. This is where everything changes. Vera is in 7th place as they hit the final 400 meters. The crowd is on their feet. The leaders are starting to kick. Vera unleashes something that nobody saw coming. She runs the final lap in 64 seconds. 64 seconds. That's the fastest final lap of anyone in the entire field. Of all 24 runners, she demonstrated the superior closing speed that defines championship-caliber athletes. She starts picking off runners one by one. 6th place, 5th, 4th, 3rd. With 50 meters remaining, she moves into 2nd place. The Stockholm native had executed one of the most tactical masterpieces in NCAA championship history. She crosses the line in 2nd place with a time of 15:34.77, national runner-up, after running a 1,500-meter final just over an hour earlier, after sitting in 17th place with 2,000 meters to go. The crowd goes absolutely wild. Her coaches can't believe what they just witnessed. And Vera, she's just made history. This isn't just the best finish by a Boston University woman at the Outdoor Nationals ever. This represents one of the most remarkable doubles in NCAA history. Only one other athlete attempted the 1,500 to 5,000 double that weekend, Virginia's Margot Appleton. She finished 2nd in the 1,500 and 13th in the 5,000. Vera's combined times were 7 seconds faster. The performance secured 8 points for Boston University, tying the Terriers for 34th place at the championships, a significant contribution to the program's national standing. Vera has accomplished remarkable feats during her time at Boston University: 5 school records, 13 Patriot League titles across cross-country, indoor track, and outdoor track. She's the 23rd fastest indoor miler in collegiate history and the 24th fastest outdoor 1,500-meter runner in collegiate history. Earlier this year at the NCAA Indoor Championships, she earned first-team All-American honors in the mile, adding to her growing collection of accolades. Her 4:28.12 mile at the Valentine Invitational broke her own school record and placed her among the fastest collegiate milers ever. But more than the numbers, it's about what she represents. She's an athlete who refuses to settle, who sees limitations as suggestions. Vera is graduating in August. This was supposed to be her farewell performance as a collegiate athlete, her final chapter representing Boston University. But after a performance like that, after demonstrating world-class tactical awareness and finishing speed on the biggest stage, the question becomes inevitable. What's next? Athletes with her caliber of talent and competitive intelligence don't simply step away from the sport. Professional opportunities, international competitions, and Olympic aspirations typically follow performances of this magnitude. What Vera Schoberg did in Eugene wasn't just about running fast. It was about proving that when you refuse to accept limitations, when you trust your fitness and your tactical awareness, when you save your best for when it matters most, magic can happen. She turned what should have been a tactical disadvantage into the performance of a lifetime. She reminded everyone watching why college athletics matter, and she did it all with a 64-second final lap that nobody saw coming. That's the kind of performance that changes everything, not just for Vera, but for everyone who witnessed it. What do you think is next for Vera Schoberg? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe for more incredible stories from the world of college athletics. What happens when a 21-year-old from a country most people can't find on a map steps onto the Olympic track and does something no African has ever done before? What if I told you that one single race would make an entire nation declare a national holiday? What if I told you this young man was running not just for gold, but for his deceased mother who never got to see him compete on the world's biggest stage? You think you know what happened next? Think again. We're talking about Ledile Tobogo from Botswana, a name that went from complete unknown to legend in just 19.46 seconds. But here's the question that's gonna blow your mind. How does a kid from one of the smallest countries in Africa become the first African to ever win Olympic gold in the men's 200 meters? Paris Olympics 2024, the men's 200-meter final. The entire world is watching. In lane 6, we have this 21-year-old kid from Botswana, a country most people couldn't even point out on a map before this moment. His name? Ledile Tobogo. And he's about to do something that has never been done before in Olympic history. The gun goes off, and from the very first step, you could see something special was about to happen. Tobogo exploded out of those blocks like his life depended on it. Coming around that curve, he was absolutely flying. Smooth, powerful, and completely in control. The home stretch opened up in front of him, and that's when the magic happened. 19.46 seconds, let that sink in for a moment. 19.46 seconds to become the first African athlete ever to win Olympic gold in the men's 200 meters. Not just the first from Botswana, the first from the entire African continent. This wasn't just a personal victory. This was a continental breakthrough that shattered barriers and rewrote the history books. But here's what makes this even more incredible. This wasn't just about breaking records. This was about a young man carrying the hopes and dreams of an entire nation on his shoulders and delivering when it mattered most. Botswana had never won an Olympic gold medal before. Can you imagine that pressure? Can you imagine being 21 years old and knowing that your entire country is counting on you to make history? Now, what makes Tobogo's story even more powerful is the personal tragedy he overcame to get to this moment. Just months before the Olympics, Tobogo lost his mother, the woman who had been his biggest supporter, his rock, his inspiration throughout his athletic journey. In interviews leading up to the games, you could see the pain in his eyes when he talked about her. She never got to see him compete at the Olympics. She never got to witness her son make history on the world's biggest stage. But you know what? He carried her memory with him every step of the way, and after crossing that finish line in first place, he dedicated his victory to her. That level of emotional strength, that ability to channel grief into greatness, that's what separates champions from everyone else. Tobogo didn't just run for himself that day, he ran for his mother, for his family, for his entire country. And somehow, that made him faster, stronger, and more determined than ever before. The technical aspects of his race were absolutely flawless. His start was explosive, his curve running was textbook perfect, and his home stretch kick was simply unstoppable. But it was the heart, the emotion, the pure determination that made this performance truly legendary. If you think the race itself was emotional, wait until you hear about what happened when Tobogo returned home to Botswana. Thousands upon thousands of people gathered at the airport in Gaborone, the capital city. We're talking about families, elderly citizens, young kids, basically the entire country showing up to welcome home their hero. President Mokgweetsi Masisi was so excited that he declared an impromptu half-day holiday for the entire nation. Can you imagine your president being so pumped about your achievement that he literally gives everyone the day off to celebrate? That's the level of impact we're talking about here. But here's my favorite part. The president himself was out there dancing on the tarmac while someone held an umbrella to shade him from the sun. Traditional dancers in animal skins were performing with drums beating in the background. The entire scene was like something out of a movie. The national flag was waving everywhere you looked, and you could feel the pure joy and pride radiating from every single person there. This wasn't just an airport pickup. This was a national celebration of epic proportions. The atmosphere was absolutely electric, and you could see how much this meant to everyone. For a country that had never tasted Olympic gold before, This moment was everything.